Welcome to Open Tabs, our twice weekly now.
My nail polish does not look good.
Well, you're very on trend. Let me get through the intro and then we'll talk about where we cover three stories taking up space in our tabs, our feeds, and our brains. There we go. We were just admiring Megan's beautiful manicure.
10 out of 10.
Thank you,
What
guys.
is that? Is that like a sea? What's the green? Is it green?
No, it's
Or like
blue. It's
it's
just
blue?
like a
Yeah,
it's
for
oh,
like
it's
4th of July.
yeah.
It's really
It's
pretty.
not quite like America blue or even light blue. I went slightly turquoisey.
Yeah.
Turquoisey. I think that's what's coming
Mhm.
up through my computer, but I think it
Yeah.
looks really good.
Thank you.
Love it.
Well, turquoise is having a moment. I feel like it's like the color of the summer right now.
Totally.
Okay.
Everybody's having their mermaid summer,
I was
as
going to
we
say
predicted
siren
over
summer.
It,
a year ago.
it's very siren summer.
Yeah.
I feel like my outfits, like I've been loving the turquoise. I'm not like super trend centric in my styling, but I love like the turquoise trend. I have fully jumped on board. Um,
I'm wearing a fishnet.
That
oh
counts.
my God. And I have turquoise nails. Megan's are blue. It's a siren summer. And more on siren
Siren summer.
summer on our Substack. Megan
Summer
called
officially started, right? Wasn't it the
Sunday.
Yesterday.
Oh, was it
Sunday.
yesterday?
Today is definitely Tuesday.
Well,
Well, happy
cheers
summer.
to summer, everyone.
Okay. And speaking of summer, I feel like in the marketing world, a big summer kickoff is Cannes Lions in the south of France, which is happening right now. Um, And what's really interesting is I've seen like a lot of buzz around like creators at Cannes this year. And if you're not familiar, Cannes Lions is an advertising festival that happens in the south of France every year. Every major brand, every major platform is there, talking about, updates they have, innovations. And this year, it seems to be a lot of like courting creators, which is an interesting term of dynamics. So, one of our favorite newsletters, The Published Press, from YouTubers Colin and Samir, estimate 300 content creators are currently on the ground there. Um, and they wrote about how, like, historically, creators at Cannes Lion have been like pitching themselves to brands for hopeful brand deals. And the tides have kind of turned where now brands are pitching themselves to content creators and like flying content creators out to Cannes, which is really interesting. And not surprising because brand spending on influencer marketing is forecasted to hit $12.4 billion this year, with nearly 90% of US companies expected to invest in it, which is crazy. Do you guys have thoughts?
Melissa, you want to go first?
I'm like, do I have thoughts? Well, first off, even just hearing you sort of talk through that, I'm surprised that the number is only like 300 creators. Like,
I know.
I think I sort of thought there would be more. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't think that any of this is surprising. I think that the creator economy continues to sort of evolve in its own direction, and it's inflating. And like, I think that, like, again, as creators continue to um evolve their own processes, I think what's interesting is that they're actually turning into like little media centers themselves, which is kind of interesting. So like, again, like, there's a whole formula out there now. You launch on one platform, you build your community, and then you cross platform as quickly as possible. And then you expand into long form, and then you get into Substack, and you make sure your YouTube is perfected. And then you have the audio, and you have a podcast too. You know what I mean? And so I do think that, like, Whereas like 5 years ago, it was a little bit more bewildering. Like, how do you grow? What do you do? All of those question marks are there. I think now we're just getting into like the phase of the timeline where there's more bang for the buck when brands are going to make the investment. Also like the measurement tools I think are getting better and sharper, probably because of AI also. So I'm not surprised. Like I think that this is really like, yes, we say like brands are investing in creators. I think they're investing in like mini businesses that are reaching core parts of their audience and creators. If you're looking at them at large and you're sort of like you have like millions and millions of creators in front of you and you want to get to a very targeted audience for your product or for whatever it is that you're selling, um yeah, like mixing and matching creators that have high influence and conversion over very specific niche audiences is a smart way to do it.
I also think what you said about each creator being their own mini business is really interesting. And I also think something that has shifted and why this power dynamic has shifted is because they really have embraced that role of like gatekeepers to their audience. And I think that they want more than just monetary investment from these brands. Like, it's not just like, how much are you going to pay me? It's like, what are you going to expect from me and my audience? What other perks are me and my audience going to get? How is this partnership going to help me further my career and my broader goals that I'm trying to reach? So I think that in the relationship, the transaction has gotten more complicated when it comes to these like top level of creators who are like the top 300 who are at Cannes. It's not like you can't just call up their agent and book them anymore. And then it's like, sure, I'll post this, no problem. It's a little bit more like 300 Anna Wintours who are like editorializing and deciding, do you pass muster to make it onto my platform?
I love, you're totally right that they are now the gatekeepers. And like this Business Insider article talks about how the influence content creators, prefer content creator to influencer. And I feel like a lot of the people there are more content creators, are now hosting workshops and like teaching sessions for marketers on how to build audience and community and move fast. Like they've totally like restructured like digital marketing that now like they are having to teach and educate the brands, at least at Cannes, like this group of 300 um
I would
on
say yes and no.
good
And
people.
And that's also like, I'm curious your thoughts on this, Melissa, as like a digital strategist who's been doing this forever. I think that sometimes there's too much clout or like there's too much expertise given to influencers who are able to build a platform for themselves in terms of like, okay, now you can advise others on how to do this. Because I think those are two different things. It's like, when you see those think pieces on Substack, it's like, I met my boyfriend here, so you guys, this is how to do it. And it's like, just because you did something successfully one time does not make you an expert. And I kind of like laugh when I see some of these creators who are like, I'm on this panel and I'm talking about this. And like, I'm like, you're not qualified to talk about that. Like, no offense. And I'm happy for you that you have this opportunity. And like, let's be real, you're on that panel because they want to show a creator and they want like to have your name on the marquee. But like, you don't have that many insights into how to actually do this from a strategy perspective. You are just the shiny example of one person who has done it for themselves. But there's so much that goes into it. It could have been luck. I saw someone today on TikTok, a creator who just graduated with her MBA, and like she seems very smart and great, Kate Bartlett. And then
Um,
she's like, I'm going to be on this panel and the topic, nostalgia. And I was like, of course it is. Like, so I think there's this thing happening where like, yes, it's a gathering and it's a conference, but I also think we have to remember at the end of the day, it's like kind of just like a dog and pony show more than it is an actual learning space for the brands. And like going back to what I said, Melissa, I'm curious like how you think about these influencers who are like 23 being like, I'm teaching
yeah.
brand when I've been doing this for 18 months, but like my qualifications are that I blew up on TikTok, like
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting? I have so many thoughts on what you just said. This has become something even in our work where, like, we just met with a prospective client who is a successful person who is about to launch a successful business, another one. And they've been around the block, and their public thought leadership, we would say, like on LinkedIn, is not anywhere reflective of like where it could be had they risen in a different time. Okay. So like there's a lot of opportunity there, but it was very interesting because our conversation was really like it started with this new business that's coming out. And then it went into, well, once this one is successful, I will then talk about how successful I was and how great I am and like whatever. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. It's almost like this whole sub business of like, I'm not just doing the thing that I'm an expert in, but then I'm also going to teach how to do digital strategy. We had another client who um, definitely has that intention. And it was sort of hard because I think that, like, even it started giving me anxiety because it's like, it just makes you wonder, like, how much of my work is this, like, is the thinking going to be shared in a different way? And, like, whatever. And I think, there's also a lot of discourse around people who um, are using AI to optimize their digital strategy, right? Um, so, yeah, I mean, I think the short answer is that, like, there's a lot of paths to get to versions of success. Okay. And I think what everyone needs to keep in mind, it's like, what is success to a given person? And like, is it total number of followers? Is it virality? Is it reach? Is it converting money and like actually selling product? Is it building an IP that can be like developed into different ways? Like, I really think when I talk to somebody about digital strategy now, like the first questions I ask are like, what are your business goals? Like, and like, what is your greater why? Like, why are you doing this? And like, who are you serving? Cause like, and how are you serving them? And how are you making people's lives better? And like, I don't care who you are, what you're doing, whatever. If it's comedy, then it's giving somebody a little giggle. If it's making t-shirts, like for what purpose and why you, what makes you special, unique, and different. And like, if you can distill all of that down, um, and you find the right platform with the right messaging and the community that connects to what you're selling, and you do the right marketing, which is like the video and the storytelling and all of it, like the formula will work. It does. And it requires discipline. It requires persistence. It requires like a maddening level of focus. And it requires time. I think, so many stories, and this is America, right, Megan? Like, I think a lot of like the most extremes and like the most like flashy or the fastest, like they sort of suck all the air out of the room as opposed to like the businesses that have longevity and that have stability and like yield money over time. Like
Yeah.
again, even when I think about MT Deco, like when I first started it, this is such a millennial way of thinking of things, but I was like, I'm going to build a company that I can sell one day because it's my sub plan with this. It's like, not only am I going to make money with it, then I'm going to sell it and I'm going to make extra money, like this whole thing. And I had talked to many, 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 many people about this. And it's just so funny because I think like I have a completely different mindset now. Like, I just want this company to like power my life and to like fulfill me as I go and to like, of course, make as much money as possible doing doing this in a way that feels really good, showing up day to day, working with Emma hand in hand, and like all like and being really selective about the clients. So, I mean, I do think that yes, like to your point, like getting back to like Cannes and like booking for a panel, I think it can be a moment in time where somebody comes up and they're like, I did this like one thing. And we hear that as like a piece of like, this was unique or this tactic worked or like I tried this and it was really interesting. But when I'm a brand sitting there and or a business I'm thinking about, or like if I'm a business and I'm choosing creators and I'm like thinking about this, it's like you want to be building something that has like real foundation and staying power, matches your why and all of that. And like it's so easy to get distracted with like the cool, shiny things, you
Yes,
know?
and
So that's
I think you diagnosed my issue with a lot of the conversation around this because it is so focused on it doesn't account for time. I think that time is such an underrated factor in like culture and like incubation is important. Like recently everyone's been talking about Walmart and how Walmart's like turning it around in the clothing space and how they're so great and
Mhm.
like I was like what's happening here? And so I started to do some digging and they brought on Brandon Maxwell like in 2021 to like re-steer their clothing. And only now, 5 years later, are they getting the shine from that. Similar thing happened with Gap, where they brought on Zach Posen, and then it took a few years, but then it's like suddenly like everyone's like, we love the Gap now, and so it's like the move towards coolness happens, and it still takes several years for it to catch up. And I just get really worried when brands are flocking to, like you said, the cool shiny thing first and foremost without doing the deeper like why is this resonating and how can we actually make institutional change within our organization to meet culture where it's at versus just doing what this 22-year-old is telling us worked for them and like that's going to lead us to the next era because it's not, you know?
totally. Well, and I think what's really cool about the two companies that you mentioned also is that they have been around for a long time and like they will continue to be. And I think it's a lot less of like it's like riding waves. It is.
Yeah.
Um and you need to be able to weather when you're at the bottom of a swell and then be able to ride it when the wave comes. And I think that
Totally.
that is like the same mindset like I talk about again with MT Deco and like even as I've shared with you and Kaylee in launching Cool Shiny Insights, you know what I mean? Like it really is about riding waves. And like you also have to make a company that like people want to, pay for and like they need your services. And that's also like in the marketing, right? Like how do you make yourself feel essential? How do you make their lives easier? How do you make it better? And like I think that's again going from working at like a full like again me like going from NBC to CNN and CNN as being sort of a cog in a wheel, like a piece of a larger picture to then being the picture, it completely reframes how you present yourself. And I think it's like such an amazing
Yeah.
exercise in like self-awareness, intention, and like being able to like better articulate yourself. Which again, I could not do like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
um, so I don't know. I mean, I also think that things like getting press and like getting put on panels and things, again, going back to like my millennial ego, which I can like very easily take off now, but like back in, again, it was such a big deal to like be able to speak on behalf of like NBC, you know what I mean? Like you had to apply to the speakers bureau and like you had to get permission to do that and to like be like Forbes, 30 under 30 or whatever. And I don't know. I mean, like, yes, it would be like a nice to have, but I don't know any of those people now. Like, it's not like I look at like somebody who I can't, I think I know like firsthand, like one person who got it and like their life is great. Like, it's great. Do I think it's like mind blowing? Like, do I want to be them? No. So I feel like I just like take different stock and like I think getting press to help then energize the business to help reach more interesting people and brands and companies that I could like collaborate with that would like be like such a value add like intellectually and like yes make money then great but like just for like the vanity acknowledgement of like yeah I got this I literally don't care. Isn't that so it's like so wild like your 40s are so eye opening you guys. It's just like the best. um But I just don't care. Like, I don't care about getting books. Honestly, the the less I care, the more I tend to now get speaking opportunities. It's so weird. I like couldn't care less. I don't even like doing it. I don't really like I don't know. It's not my like forte. Like I would much rather like have a conversation with someone with a cocktail and just be like, let's just brainstorm, or put me on
Same.
a
I'm similar. Yeah.
yeah, just put me on a Google Meet and like let's just like give me 5 topics. Like I almost think like, can we reinvent how people like get to know each other? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I actually think it's really
I
cool. Kaylee's been doing office hours, like, and it's just so like, let's
Mhm.
just whatever. Like some of my coolest ideas come up like on this. Like this is such a like more fulfilling, cool way to come up with ideas and to like talk through things that are in culture than it is, I don't know, in a multitude of other ways. Like, I don't know.
Well, maybe next Can Lions, there'll be a big screen of open tabs and we'll just chit chat from the comfort of our homes. Um,
Emma, you are in charge of that. Emma, please book us. Can Lion.
on it. Um, okay, next topic. I can't believe we've never talked about this before, but the rise of wearable tech, specifically smart glasses. So
Can I
obviously,
just say, is wearable tech on the rise? Like, is it? I don't know.
I think it's like I feel like I'm gonna be talking more about obviously like the glass of it all, but like I think this is like an example of them trying to make fashion. Like I just
I know.
it
Like,
it's just like so landing. Obviously, like I think we're all pretty familiar with Meta Ray-Ban sunglasses. They're like basically just normal glasses. They have built-in cameras, and there's like owned, like they can translate things live. You can play music from them. But that's it. Mess today flat that Meta actually just now working with Kylie Jenner on her version of Meta sunglasses, the Star AI glasses. And again, same thing, like there's a camera. That's basically it. Interesting is uh, this week they're really going all in. Snapchat going all in their version of full A glasses pack, which is going to have a full display built into the lenses. So you can see notifications, filters on the inside of your sunglasses. And they're like really trying to make this a thing. But I think like Megan, you brought this up on our pre-call. Like they're these smart glasses are just kind of associated with creeps and like it has a major like branding problem.
Yeah, I was saying that when you launch a new product, it's very important that the first people who are kind of like the faces or like the early adopters of your product are perceived as cool. And you'll see like sites like TikTok was seen as very successful for like choosing Charlie D'Amelio and Addison Rae and like the Hype House. Like they had a hand in making sure that those were the model citizens of their platform because they wanted to go after young American teens and they wanted them creating on the platform. And so that's what they did. And so the first people who are purchasing and using the product out in the world become kind of like the archetype of the perfect ideal customer.
Mhm.
We also saw this with the iPhone, where they did a huge celebrity seeding campaign where like you saw the celebs with iPhones. Whereas with these smart glasses, I've only seen me personally older, creepy men wearing them. And that's created an association of like, this is who is purchasing this. And it's kind of one of those things where you're like, who would buy this? You go out into the world and see someone and you're like, oh, that's who would buy this. And that can do some pretty bad damage to the brand and like kind of make the launch seem less cool.
yeah. I mean, I think, Kylie Jenner now, like, just announced right today. I think you guys said, right?
Mhm.
She's now going to be shilling them. So I think it will be interesting to see this roll
Do
out.
we think it's going to work?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. They're probably like, why didn't we get this set up while she was at the Knicks games? But that's fine. um,
I to me, this is very reactionary to Google doing their glasses and having like actually like cool ones with Gentle Monster. And this was their attempt at like, they were like, ours aren't cool. How do we get cool? Kylie Jenner. But I also think that,
Yeah.
I also think that she doesn't have the pool. Like, and I also think that it's kind of like her persona now is that their whole persona as a family is that they will do anything if the money's right. So I think it just comes off as like you paid her to wear these. It doesn't have the intended effect of Kylie loves these and is organically wearing these and like do.
Mhm.
I think if she made content with them, that might be interesting
Yeah.
to people. Like that might be cool. And like I think Kylie is actually a creative person, especially when it comes to video content. So I think she might do something interesting. But just putting them on her and taking a picture of her looking cool, I don't think was enough to change the perception of coolness around
No.
these glasses. If anything, it just makes Facebook look increasingly desperate.
Yeah. I recently listened to a podcast episode about Kylie Jenner's disappearing brands. Just very good. I can hyperlink it, but like
Please, I want to listen to
Kylie
Yeah.
Baby, she launches these brands and then they just like quietly are removed from her Instagram bio and like never to be heard of or acknowledged again. So I think it just feels like shilling. I also think like I was looking at a picture of the glasses, like, they're just so not discreet. They're, like, very bulky on the face, like, they don't look chic, which I feel like she's trying to lean into her, like, chic, I'm dating an Oscar-nominated actor, um, mode right now. We're not really seeing King Kylie. The King Kylie style is out, and yeah, I just think it looks like clunky and it's just so obvious when you are walking down the street and you see somebody wearing these smart glasses, especially like the Meta ones with the two cameras. And it's not cool. Like I just think women in their 20s or whoever, would be like, ooh, yeah, I want to be that person walking down.
I was even just gonna say, to your point, like even outside of it being cool, like I just in this era of wellness and like being like present, like I don't want to see notifications on my sunglasses or in my like line of sight. I feel like I'm looking at my phone all the time anyway. Also, like from like I've never worn them, so like this is not like maybe the experience is like very different than whatever, but like just seems like safety issue too. Like I don't. It's like when I'm driving a car. Again, I'm a mom of three, so like this is probably not being marketed to me, but I'm already so overstimulated. Like I'm driving I have like a 2.5-year-old, I have a 6-year-old, and I have an 8-year-old. Someone is always asking for a certain song. Somebody is asking for food, water, like whatever. And so I'm already doing this dance of like driving while multitasking. This idea of like introducing a whole nother thing is actually so unsafe to me. Like, I just like, also, there's just this idea of like, I'm walking down the street and like I'm seeing notifications on in front of my face. I don't know. It just feels like, even outside of like cool factor and all of that, it just feels like incredibly unappealing to me. Like, we brought up in our prep call, like, again, just this idea of wearable tech. Like, I think a tech company that is doing it right is Whoop. And Whoop is like, for those that don't know, it's like a wellness wristband that you wear and it like tracks all this data and whatnot. And I think one of the things that works so well about Whoop is that it is so lo-fi. Like it's actually like it almost harkens back to like we're all, we're in this like constant state of like nostalgia for yesterday. You know what I mean? But it's a piece of hardware that does not look like tech at all. And like you're supposed to shower with it. You don't take it off. Like you don't have to get electrified. Like it's like this whole thing. And it's like measuring like your sleep score and like the quality, like steps and all of that. And so I feel like that hits harder for me in my age and demographic than this concept. And again, I said this on the prep call, but like I feel like Meta in particular has been trying to make like hardware work for so long, like Oculus glasses, and like now it's this, and it just doesn't feel like anything is actually sticking. And I wonder, like, I think Megan, you're coming at it from this like really smart perspective of like coolness and like in culture. Like, I'm like, let's just even go further and be like, is this something people want? Like, is this what they want? Like, I don't know. Like, is there some part of the population that is like, oh my God, I would really like love to have notifications coming up in my glasses. Like to me, this feels like it's like a money laundering scheme. Like this doesn't make any sense. Like I don't know anyone who wants that.
I think like the hyper online tech bros would be the only ones who I could see wanting this life. It's really interesting because it's Snapchat that's creating the ones with that'll have like the display notifications on the inside of the lens. And they're like, it's so much less distracting than a phone. You can keep talking and making eye contact with somebody and you won't have to look down at your phone. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like that sounds 10 times more distracting than having like a phone in your pocket vibrate. And I also think like this just feels like the wrong moment for all of this right now with like the rise of bricking and people like wanting to be more responsible with like their screen time and like touching grass and IRL. Like it's just feels like off for where people
Here's
are.
exactly like, here's the question. If the currency is attention, okay. And like I feel like there's a much larger, deeper philosophical question to be had on like what is the actual goal and like what are you trying to achieve? Because it's like again, the metric has been attention. It's like attention, capturing somebody's attention and like whatever. And it's like, goes back to the top of this conversation, time. Time is like this thing. Um like is there not a better way to do this where you're like adding like where you're as a company like affecting the quality of the time that people are spending in a more positive way, which again goes back to me with Whoop. Like I'm like Whoop doesn't require you to be staring at it. It doesn't require you to be like interrupting other experiences. Like it doesn't like this feels parasitic to me. Like it's like you are now getting involved in my like this is an interaction, a human to human interaction. You've already affected so much of my life, like
I
many,
think
many hours.
that's the goal, though. I feel like if you look at all of the technological advancement for the past, like since the pandemic, the attempt was the metaverse. Like they were like, we're going to leave reality and we're going to go to the metaverse. And we were like, no, we're not.
No, we're not.
And so they're like, okay, then we're going to turn your reality into the metaverse via these glasses. And
Yeah.
so that is the goal. It is literally like the goal is to have a platform. And so they're literally trying to insert a screen between us and the real world. And they're in a war of who is going to put the most screens between us and the real world. And they are doing that on TV. They're doing that on our phones. And now they're trying to do it on the glasses as well. I don't think it's going to work, but that's the attempt. And I think this is also like a broader troubling trend I'm seeing in kind of like the power trend and how decisions and even how consumer decisions are being made is like the ultra wealthy are really in silos and like live in a false reality of like what the world is like. Even like this became clear to me when I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about how all of the luxury houses now have focused on just like the 1%. So they're just focused on like getting they call them I think like a ultra high net worth individual. And like they're just focused on them. They don't care as much about selling lip glosses and like lipsticks and all of that. That's where they're getting most of their business from, where like someone will come in and spend $1 million. And that's the goal now. I keep saying that. That's the goal now. So it just goes to show that like there's enough wealth concentrated in the 1% that like reason and like what everybody else is doing is just they're just not so out of touch, just like so out of touch with like what actual people like when you're like, is anybody asking for this? Like everyone in their eyes is because everyone in their 1% circle is.
Yeah, I think you're
It
like,
feels like, to me, like, yeah, like it feels like boomer, wealthy boomer, like
Visions of the future of like,
visions
this
of
is
the
what
future.
was
Yeah.
promised in the sci-fi Jetsons. So like, this
This
is
is
the
what the
next big
Jetsons
thing.
wore.
yeah.
I'm like, someone focus on the hovering cars. Like, why don't we have those? You know what
I
I
know
mean?
it's the fun.
Why? Where is the development there? Like,
But you're totally right. It's just like so out of touch, Megan. It like reminds me of one of my favorite shows, Arrested Development. Like it's a banana. What could it cost? $10? Um, it's like
yes.
no, we're in two very different realities. Okay, I want to get to our final topic. We're going to talk about this live, but when it goes up tomorrow, this will be behind our paywall. So
Mhm.
our Thursday piece on Substack is a once to watch around the World Cup. I don't know about you guys, but like I feel like it's totally taken over all of my feeds